Open a to-do list and suddenly it feels less like a list and more like an epic saga. Dozens of tasks lined up, each demanding attention, each whispering a reminder of how much hasn't been done. It's overwhelming not because you're incapable, but because the brain has a talent for dramatizing future discomfort. That sinking feeling in your stomach isn't laziness, it's simply resistance. But resistance doesn't always require a grand strategy to overcome. Often, it just needs a small spark to cut through the inertia. That's where the 2-minute rule comes in. Popularized by David Allen in Getting Things Done, the principle is elegantly simple. If something can be done in less than 2 minutes, do it immediately. Not later, not after coffee, not scheduled for tomorrow, now. It sounds almost too simple, yet think about it. Writing a task down, storing it in your memory, revisiting it later, that often consumes more than 2 minutes. Meanwhile, just doing it clears it off your plate instantly. A quick rinse of a cup, a brief email reply, a sock tossed in the hamper. Small, almost trivial actions, but once done, they no longer clutter the mind or weigh down your focus. This is where the domino effect begins. Each minor action knocks over the next. One email answered clears mental space for another. One quick decision creates capacity for bigger ones. What looks like an insignificant choice becomes momentum, and momentum has a way of multiplying. Just as a snowball gathers mass as it rolls, small completed tasks gather force, pushing you into larger ones almost without effort. The deeper truth is this: these 2-minute wins are not about the task itself, they are about identity. Every time you act quickly, you reinforce the idea that you're someone who takes control instead of avoiding. One small task doesn't define you, but repeated consistently, it becomes a habit, and habits quietly shape character. Here's where the psychology becomes clear. The brain doesn't wake up eager for discipline. It defaults to conserving energy, to putting things off. Motivation rarely precedes action, it follows it, and 2 minutes is the perfect entry point to bridge that gap. Think of motivation as energy trapped in cold storage. On its own, it's uninviting. But apply just a little heat, a small action, and suddenly it shifts. That's what happens when you finish even the tiniest task. The brain rewards you with a quick shot of dopamine, a chemical nudge that says, yes, keep going. That small win is often enough to shift you from hesitation into motion. There's also a cognitive principle at work called the Zeigarnik effect. It tells us that once we begin something, our brain keeps it active, almost demanding completion. A small start, even a single sentence on a blank page, creates an open loop that the mind naturally wants to close. 2 minutes is enough to activate that effect without triggering overwhelm. This is why the rule works so consistently. It occupies the Goldilocks zone of effort. Too short to feel like a burden, too meaningful to feel like a trick. It's the sweet spot where resistance gives way to progress. What's important to realize is that the brain doesn't evaluate the size of an accomplishment. It simply reacts to the fact that something was completed. One small win has the same neurological impact as a larger one. It signals competence. Over time, this consistent reinforcement conditions the mind to expect progress, not avoidance. That's why the 2-minute rule is not just about clearing away clutter. It's about reprogramming how you engage with tasks. It teaches your brain that starting is safe, rewarding, and often easier than it first appears. The mountain shrinks, not because the task itself changed, but because your perspective did. It's one thing to understand the concept, it's another to see it applied in daily life. The 2-minute rule thrives in ordinary moments, the ones where decisions pile up and small tasks quietly drain your energy. Imagine starting your morning. The sink holds a mug from last night. It's easy to ignore, but rinsing it now takes less than 30 seconds. Done. Already you've created a cleaner environment and a clearer state of mind. Then the digital world arrives. An email asks to reschedule a meeting. Instead of postponing your reply and carrying the weight of remembering it later, you send a quick confirmation. Task closed. Momentum continues. A Slack message pops up. Is the draft ready? Instead of letting guilt simmer, you answer, draft by 3 p.m. Less than a minute, but the relief is noticeable. Even household details fit the pattern. Wiping coffee grounds from the counter, tossing a stray sock into the hamper. Small actions, instantly resolved. Each one clears not only physical clutter, but also mental noise. But the rule has limits. When you're deep in focused work, writing, coding, problem solving, interrupting flow for minor tasks does more harm than good. In those cases, batch the small items into a short session at the end of the hour. Handle them together without fracturing concentration. And beware of scope creep. I'll just answer this email can easily become reorganizing your entire inbox. Discipline matters here. Use a timer, and when the 2 minutes are up, either finish or schedule the rest for later. The rule is about momentum, not distraction. What makes the 2-minute rule powerful is not efficiency alone, but identity. Each quick decision is a signal to yourself. I act, I follow through. I clear space for what matters. One rinsed mug won't transform you, but repeated consistently, those moments accumulate into a self-image of reliability and progress. So here's the challenge. Pick one task that's been staring at you all day. Set a timer for 2 minutes. Start now. When the time is up, you can stop, but chances are you'll want to keep going. Momentum has a way of carrying you further than expected. Tiny actions build like layers. One by itself seems insignificant, but stack them day after day, decision after decision, and they shape the trajectory of your work and your life. 2 minutes at a time, you dismantle mountains and turn them into steps you can easily climb. Push the first domino. 2 minutes. That's all it takes, and your future self, lighter and clearer, will thank you for starting today. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.